So we got this here console just about all filled in with all the holes and divots and other shit that was on it. I had a couple air bubbles in this fairing that I used, so just covered them up. Put a lot on there because I'm not good at spreading it thin. I'm gonna try and get a nice radius out of these edges with the soft sanders that I got, and see if we can't make this thing look pretty enough to paint at least. This stuff's been on here for like 3 days now, and it's gotten hard, but it's not as hard as normally is. Let's see if you can make a fingernail indentation on it, which I can. I mean, it's definitely hard enough to sand. That's what the guy that said when I bought it. So I'm gonna try and sand all these high spots down, knock it down, get her nice and clean. I really botched this back side up. I thought I was gonna fill it in, and I'm like, well, how am I gonna wire everything? So just trying to get it as fair as possible. Then I'm just gonna mount a seat rest on it or something, so I can, you know, access any wires in here easily, because that would be a nightmare trying to go through this through either this hole or up there. Right here I just got clear visibility to everything. I still need a fiberglass over that little sucker there, which I forgot about. But yeah, she's coming right along. So I'm gonna set up the sander and put on the hazmat suit and see if I can't sand the sucker down and get her close to dead flat as possible. That way I can paint it here soon. Back in the saddle again. Well, back in the Seahawks, I guess. So, just finished cutting some holes in the floor, which I was very nervous about doing. Got this pipe that I think I went over in the last video. It's going to be running all the controls, cable, throttle, cable shift, cable steering, lots of the outdated stuff that is not all high-tech and fancy like the new 4-strokes have, but whatever, it'll get me down the river hopefully. Ran this 22.5 street. The crate's a 45. There are 2 pieces. These pieces don't want to come apart, but I got one up underneath the console here, which I'll show you in a second, and then there's going to be a second one out the back. I went with this because that's the steering cable. I just threw it out of the boat, but it doesn't bend well. Pretty sure I've already said that a lot. So I wanted to keep the least aggressive entry and exit angle as possible in order to prevent any possible binds with the cable. I mean, it's an old cable. I don't even know how old it is. It's been around for a minute. Came off of like a late 90s Johnson, which came off of another boat. I don't know where it came from. So I went with this. It spins freely, the wheel does. No issues whatsoever. So went and put this 3-inch PVC all the way down there and then up into there. It's probably dark, you can't see it. This is going to be on the back coming out here, and then there's going to be like a, I want to say about a 6-inch gap here where I'm going to frame in this back, and just I'll have access panels here so I can access, you know, the fuel filter back here and whatever miscellaneous stuff. And I got to drill the holes for the bracket, which still is not finished. Got a little bit of progress done on the fairing on the transom down here. She's feeling pretty flat. There's a few high spots in here still that I got to come back and take off. But for the most part, I mean, this is not sanded at all. But there are just some little bumps in here. But I think a little bit more fairing, it'll be good to go. Bracket's still not done, waiting on that. God dang AC unit, always turning on when I'm videoing. Got the old heater in here because in Virginia the weather doesn't like to make up its mind. It's been hot and cold today. It was like 65 degrees. Got this piece of flooring in permanently. It's not glassed over top of it yet, but I went and took some chop strand and just put a nice radius on here to where the 1708 that I'm gonna go, or 1208 is gonna, I haven't made up my mind yet, 1708 or 1208, And then I've been taking leftover resin that I've overmixed and just creating some peanut butter with it, using the milled glass fibers just to fill in these gaps. I don't know. This is going to be all covered up. There's going to be a box. No one's going to see this except you guys. It's all going to be storage. My original intent was to make the floor go all the way out here, and then I stopped doing that because there was a lip here that was just kind of weird, so I was going to make this flush with this lip. And then I cut the board out and it sat on top of the lip, and I didn't really like the way that it looked, because this, you probably can't see it, but there's a gentle lip here that goes, and it tailors down and then it goes even with the rest of the flooring that was here. I left it like this because it creates a gradual incline in the front. So my theory is there's going to be a hatch on here. Water's probably going to get in here. If water does get in here, I'm going to have holes in the back. This the board that runs here, bulkhead, that runs across for the flooring. Just imagine it. The water will drain out of the holes and not stay in this area where it did before, previously rotting out the floor. I don't really have any rot problems, or hopefully not with this Kusa, but I figure anything to help water drain out the back of the boat is going to only work in my favor. Got some, I just put like a 4-inch strip over the seams here. There's a little string that runs up here, but this just felt a little wobbly when I was standing on it. And now with just chop strand along the sides, all around the sides, and this 4-inch strip over the seam, it's pretty solid. I don't think it's going anywhere. Like I said, this is just storage area, but I feel like it's also a vital part of the boat. Being in the front, it's going to take the brunt of everything. And then I did the same thing back here because I moved the gas tank so far forward up. I think I went over, I put like 8-inch wide strips of glass Kusa, I think like every 12 inches on here. You can kind of see, this is the bulkhead here for the front of the gas tank. And that's the back of the tank. And then there's strips of Kusa in here that go across that attach to the stringers. And I thought that I measured them out right and they wouldn't have any flex in them and it would hold the floor taut per se. But I was stepping around on it without any glass, I know. Oh, like a little bug. And I just didn't like the way it felt. So I went and sneezed a bunch of what do you call it, the peanut butter stuff into this crack, because this board, I don't know if it was hit or something, but it wasn't perfectly, it wasn't a straight edge on it. It could have been for me just pulling in and out of the boat. So there were some small gaps, but I wanted to put this strip on here because I saw how well it worked up there, and it is really holding things together with the copious amounts of peanut butter under here in the crack, and then with this 1708 strip over top of it. And then the bulkhead for this front storage is going to sit on front or on top of it. So I think at the end of the day I'll have plenty of structure, just support in here. And I'm gonna of course glass over all of this, but that was just my thought process. The console in some good light here. It looks ugly as shit, don't get me wrong right now. I need to paint it. But this turned out really well. I've still got to do some fine tuning with the sanding. I got those soft sanders to create an edge here. This is pretty darn straight. That piece of Kusa, and then I think I did 1208 on the front, and I did a patchwork job of 1708 on the back using just leftover pieces of 1708 I had, and I just cut them to whatever, to like squares and strips, and I filleted the inside corner here on all the edges, and then on the back side it's all 1708 too. But then I sanded this down, put some fairing on it, and got it pretty smooth. I think it's going to look great when it's painted. And if it doesn't look good, I'm just going to put a cooler in front of it, so again, no one's going to see it. I don't think I'm going to do a seat or anything. well, I mean, the cooler's gonna be a seat. I just want to have maximum room for moving around, and I'm not a fan of like fixed big consoles where you just have to walk around and whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move this console and then come back and I'll show you the little plumbing job that I did with this 3-inch PVC. All right, so it's not beautiful, but it worked the way I wanted it to. I was really nervous cutting this. So this is gonna be a pipe just for the squeaky floor. It's not screwed in yet. Fuel sending unit is right here. It's in the tank. There's no good way. So I put a cutout for the fuel line in here on the bulkhead on the back side, 2 of them, because it's got 2 what do you call them, 2 pickups, 2 fuel pickups. So I'm using the right one because I know that it works. I looked at it. So the fuel sending unit wire is going to come out of here, and they're going to be on the back side. I don't know if you can really see it or not, the back side of the Coosa patch job. And then this pipe here is going to be for all the electrical in the front. It goes down to a 90-degree here, all the way up to that front up there. And then this is the other end of the 3-inch PVC with that modified 45. It's got my shifter linkage in it here, and I've already fitted out to where I can put my steering through here without having to take. This isn't permanent. I can still, you know, it's not glued in, but with the steering, that metal post that's on the back side, there's enough real estate here so where I can shove it in here and take it out in the future if needed quite easily. What else? I'm gonna cut another access hole right here, because I feel like with the way the fuel lines are ran, they're gonna be hugging the inside of this stringer all the way back, and they're gonna jump up. So I want the ability to reach in here and, you know, change it out if I have to, or if I end up running a 4-stroke in the future, I can feed the return line in here, and just do maintenance on it if the fuel line decide to break or anything. So yeah, that's where we're at. Tomorrow I'm gonna run the fuel line. I got I don't know if it's not gonna work or not. Well, these fit the 3/8 fuel line perfectly. I'm gonna put 2 of these on the inside of the stringer up here, one at the front, one at the back, where I can reach it with my hand, just to kind of hang the fuel line in case it sags. And then at the end where it turns, these are called Acoustic Clamps. I found them in the plumbing section because that's been my best friend, and I feel like I'm gonna be a plumber by the time I'm done. But these hold the 3/8-inch fuel line perfectly, and I've got some stainless hardware that I'm just gonna zip them to the stringer with, and this will actually put some friction on the fuel line so it won't slip and move. So I'll probably put one on the inside here, well, a little farther up, because I don't want to put any aggressive bends in it. And then maybe I'll put one back there on the transom too, just to keep everything neat and tidy. So that is the plan. Time is dwindling away. The days are getting shorter, but progress is being made. I think next week I'll get around to the fuel lines, and I'm really itching to put some glass on the floor and start making it look like a boat again. That's all for now, I guess, until something else unexpected comes up.